So in this series, I'm not going to, spend a lot of time showing you those scale shapes. We're just going to start using them. So you can start memorizing them on your own and then coming back to these videos. But so what I'm just going to do real quick, I'm just going to go over each of the 5 shapes of that pentatonic, where the blues note is, and how to think of it as the major pentatonic as well as the minor pentatonic. And I do that all, and I can't emphasize this enough, with any of these scale shapes that you learn, any chords that you learn, anything, know where the root is. Once you really start to see kind of like you're plugging things in based off the root, you'll really be able to, I think it'll really help with your fretboard knowledge and playing up and down the neck. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through the 5 shapes of the pentatonic. I'm going to show you where those blues notes are and the roots, and then we'll go through the mode shapes, and this is going to be really fast, and then we'll just start using them. Okay, so we're going to zoom in, check it out. Alright, so I'm going to start with the G minor pentatonic scale. This is the first one everyone learns. I don't mean G necessarily, but just this position. Right? So when we play that scale, if we want it to be the minor pentatonic, the roots are here. The tonal center. Alright? And then also we have the blues note, which is right there and right there, and those are used as, passing tones. All the stuff that goes with the licks and everything. But the same shape can be the major pentatonic if that pinky note's the root. And so that would be the B flat major pentatonic. So that means that, the B flat major pentatonic shares all the notes with the G minor pentatonic, which also relates to the relative major, relative minor that I talked about in the theory stuff. So B flat major is the relative major of G minor, and vice versa. G minor is the relative minor of B flat major. So with this one shape, we can use it to play the B flat major pentatonic. Or we can use that same shape, a different function of it, as the minor pentatonic. Okay, so that's that master position. Okay, we want to learn the shape below it of the same pool of notes. So in other words, G, B flat, C, D, and F exist all over the neck. So when we go into different positions, that same pool of 5 notes, the shape of it looks different, but it's still the same notes. So watch. Here's the shape below it that we want. The root's right there for the minor. Now without open strings, it'd be all the way up here. It's 2 short ones and then 2 long ones, and then 2 short ones. Oops, sorry. And the blues notes, right there, or if we're right here, same blues note. Then we've got 2 long ones, and then the blues note right here. Now wherever our B flats are here is where we would think of the roots for the major pentatonic. It's right here. Oops. Okay, so we've got 2 shapes of 5 shapes of the pentatonic. Okay, so we also want to connect the one above this one. That's our root for the minor. So The only root in this next position up that we can kind of locate in the lower strings is actually on the D string. And here's the two roots for the minor in this position. And so the shape though looks like this. A short one, a long one, a long one, short one, another short one but shifted, and then another short one. Alright, the blues note is right here, and then right here, and right here. I mean, not the blues note, but oops. You can edit here. Now that same position, but major pentatonic, the roots wherever the B flats are. Alright, so the next position up, the roots, well here's what the shape looks like. 3 short ones, a long one, a shifted long one, and a short one. Now for the minor pentatonic in this position, the root's right here. Notes right here. Root right there. So the roots in this position for the minor pentatonic are the G notes. Notes, minor roots, G, and then wherever the B flats are the roots for the major pentatonic. Right there, it's a B flat, and then also right here. And it's going to help, you know, those intervals that we learned earlier in the theory stuff will help with this as well. Okay, next position has the A root for the minor pentatonic. And the shape looks like this. 2 long ones, 2 short ones, a shifted short one, and then a long one again. And for the minor, the roots are here, you know, the G note. And for major, it's wherever that B flat is, and it's going to be right here. And then right there on the... Don't worry, we're going to be using all this real soon. Okay, one more shape. No, actually, no more shapes. Alright, so that was the last shape of the pentatonics. And they're all diagrammed out. Okay, so now let's learn the positions of the major. Oops, let me say that again in the right angle here. Alright, so now let's go through the 5 scale shapes for the major scale, but that also gives you all the modes as well. But we can just learn this as the connecting, that these all connect position by position. You want to memorize them, how they connect to each other. That'll help us when we're, thinking of the guitar as the whole neck instead of little positions. So we'll do this one just with the key of G major. So we call this, I call these shapes, it's not theoretically correct, but it's a good way to learn them. I give them the name, the shape name of the mode that it would be with the root on the E string. But anyway, don't worry about that. These are all the positions of the G major scale. So we've got middle finger on G, and we play this shape. So that's shape 1 of 5 shapes. That note's there too. The next shape of this pool of notes, the exact same pool of notes, every note's the same, but we're just starting it on the 2nd degree. So in other words, did you hear that? How it sounds the same as... So we're learning the next shape, all the same notes of this one, but in another spot of the neck. And they always connect together. Like, you start to connect them up and down. So it looks like this. And I also think of it as, if you thought of that note as the root, it's G major or A Dorian. And I like to call this the Dorian shape, even though it could still be G major or it could be Phrygian, blah, blah, blah. But the shape itself, the kind of like master position for the E root, the mode name that it comes from, that's just how I label them as a way to, reference them. So we've got the G major or G Ionian. A Dorian, but still all the same thing. And as you learn these 7-note shapes, you'll see there's always one string where there's only 2 notes. And in this position, it's the A string. In this position, it's the B string. And 2 of these. 2 of these, or I mean another one, then 2 of these. So that was the Dorian shape. The next shape, we'll call it the Phrygian shape. Still all the same notes. And it looks like this. Another one. Here comes the just 2-note one, and then 2 of these. Oops. Connect them all together. It's all the same scale though. So that was the Phrygian shape. Now if you thought of that note as the root, it'd be Lydian, but you don't have to change the shape. That's why there's only 5 of them, because of this half step. It's still the same shape. If you thought of that as the root, you haven't changed anything though. So you have the Phrygian shape, that would be, from there it's the Lydian shape. But we haven't changed it. And then the next one off of here is, the Mixolydian So it'd be D Mixolydian, or still G major, but we've been, you know, changing the shapes up. And it looks like this. I call it the Mixolydian Shape, but it's still all the same notes as everything else we've done. Same 7 notes. We've only played the same group of 7 notes up the neck. So we've got, there's where the 2-note one is. Then we have this, then another one, then one of these. Now we shift to the 10th here on the B, and then here's that other 2-note spot. So this shape here, it's the second to the last shape, so what are we at, the 4th shape? We've got now we're at the Mixolydian, well, I call it the Mixolydian, but you know, it's just the next shape up. Last one is in right here, and if we thought of that note as the root, it's the Aeolian, or just the minor scale. Remember we talked about we were in the key of G major, so we had the 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord, 6 chord. That 6 chord is that relative minor. So if we thought of that as the tonal center instead of G, we're playing that relative minor, also known as the key of E minor, or just the minor key. And then the shape looks like this. Here comes the 2-note one. A little shift back to here. And then here. And we've just ended on a G note. So we just went through the octave of all the shapes. So we've got 5 pentatonic shapes that can be major or minor depending on how you plug them in, and 5 mode scale shapes that can be plugged in to give us 6 different mode sounds out of 7. We're not using that 7th, like I said. So those are the scales that we're kind of going to be focusing on, and you should have a reference paper or PDF that you can kind of refer to when I'm, you know, zipping out all this lingo and stuff. All right. So hang tight. We got some cool examples of using this stuff coming up.